IGN's Comic-Con coverage brought to you by Death Race. In theaters August 22nd.
This is your first TV show in a few years. What's it like for you to sort of be diving back into the whole process again?
Some of it's very familiar and good to be back and be with people that I love and be in a writer's room, which is a great experience. I'm definitely having, a little trouble. I have a family now and I sort of have to figure out how to juggle a little more precisely than I used to, but I also have a lot of more people that I trust that I can go to right away on my crew and my writing staff and obviously Eliza, people I know I can count on, so I don't have to oversee every single detail in quite the same way. So it's, I feel a little bit more mature. Finally, I hit puberty. That was exciting. Started balding before I hit puberty. That was weird, but I do feel like I can delegate and I can run things a little more smoothly and spend a little less time sitting around the writers' room making dirty jokes.
So we've heard about this sort of famous lunch now you had with Joss, where the whole idea of this came about. What did you think when he pitched you? Hey, I've got this great idea.
It didn't quite go like that. It was more like, hey, I need you to pitch me a great idea. And so, no, it was really organic, and yet I can't say I went into the lunch not hoping to pick his brain and throw it out there that I just, simply wanted him to create the coolest, raddest, show starring me for me, and hoping he would say yes, and then he did. So it was awesome.
Can you talk about the show and what your character is on it? Everyone's very excited about Dollhouse, obviously.
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit. I play FBI field agent Paul Smith, and I'm an agent who's on the case of the urban myth of the Dollhouse, and my character is very determined, very obsessed with it. So it's interesting. That'll be explored exactly why he is, because to be honest with you, I don't think anybody else in the Bureau has any faith that this really does exist, and he's kind of holding on to his job by a shoestring. So it'll be neat to see where we go with this.
We've heard a lot about the lunch with Eliza that this whole show kind of stemmed from. Was there the kernel of this idea always in the back of your head, or did it really just sort of come out freeform right then?
There really was no kernel. I knew that she was doing a show, and honestly, the first time I heard she was doing a show, I sort of went in my head, what would I do if I was doing an Eliza show? Because I love Eliza, but that was just nothing, and it had nothing to do with Dollhouse. It really came from the conversation that we were having, which was about, I was telling her what kind of show I thought she should do. Do a genre. She wants to be political. She wants to talk about sexuality. She wants to deal with some issues. I'm like, you want to be a genre show. You want to be a little sci-fi so that people step back and it doesn't become about politics. It doesn't become partisan. Like, if you really want to investigate stuff, I mean, the most political show on television is Battlestar Galactica. So, and I said you want an ensemble, that you want a mythos that's bigger than your character because you don't want to carry every single scene or you'll burn out. Like, you need a really strong ensemble around you. And we were talking about, my thing with her is she has an enormous range, and I've seen, all the sides of her, and well, not all of them, but I've seen a lot of them. And I've wanted her to be able to show all the different things she could do. And she was talking about, well, people expect this from me, and they expect that from me, and I'm the tough girl, or I'm this. I'm like, there's so much more to you than that. And suddenly, bam, show, entire premise, and the name. The name was what caught me. It was like, when I knew the name, I knew that's it, I'm done. I'm making this.
Obviously, you got such a great opportunity here because you're not just playing one character. You could play a million different characters. Was that exciting for you as an actress?
Absolutely. I can't sit still for very long, as you can tell, as I'm in and out of your frame. It's really important for me because each show I sometimes am maybe 2, 3, 4 different people, and that's good for me. I still rock my ADHD. I mean, I own it and I embrace it, but it's fun for me to not have the same look every day.
Was it great for you to get to do a show that every week could be a different genre?
Yeah, it won't be as, sort of goofy as my other shows, and there's this a tone that we'll be going for in the Dollhouse that's similar, where every week you are worried about what's going to happen to her there and the people there and how they're interacting. It is more real world, so I don't have license to be completely literally out of this world as I was in the other shows. On the other hand, she is a different person, and the situations we put her in are always about who that person is, and sometimes that person is desperately serious. Sometimes that person is a complete goof. Right now, we're writing an episode that is basically a romantic comedy. It's got peril, it's got surprises, it's got action and fun, but it's got a totally different tone because the character she plays in that has a totally different, personality, and that really gratifies me. She'd get bored, I'd get bored if we were doing the same thing week after week.